If you're a driven, active person who wants to reach and pursue a higher quality life with some ambition, then guess what? This podcast is for you. This is the Driven Athlete Podcast. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dr. Kyle. Welcome back to the Driven Athlete Podcast. We got a cool special guest. Jay Berger is with us. High-level tennis athlete in the past and now a high-level coach at Ibis, right?
Correct, yeah.
So I know you're a busy dude, so I appreciate you coming in
Absolutely.
and sharing some insights and stuff.
Appreciate the work you do with our athletes.
Yeah, definitely.
Glad to be here.
It's fun. So share with people where you're at now and what you do.
So I'm at the club at Ibis. I'm the director of athletics for the past 5 years. Been there 8 or 9 years. I was starting my 9th year. Prior to that, played professional tennis, played Davis Cup for the United States, coached at the University of Miami, went on and spent most of my career at the USTA in high performance, and spent the last 10 years in charge of men's tennis. So developing the best young players from 10, 11, 12 years old on and working with pros as well.
Cool. I didn't know you coached at tennis at Miami.
I sure did. Yeah.
I went to Miami for
5.5 years. I know a lot of it's got the best PT school.
So it's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased, of course, but
yeah.
it's a good one.
And I know a lot of people that have done that side.
That's cool. My wife went there also. That's where we met.
Great school.
She played soccer at UM.
Okay.
And then stayed for grad school, and that's where we met.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Miami, it's a different world down there, you know?
It has changed a lot. I mean, I was there, I guess, in the end of the 1990s. So
Okay.
1998, 1999, early 2000s. And we lived in Key Biscayne and we loved it. And the interesting part is we'd recruit some tennis players to go there. They would be kind of not really into school, never really apply themselves. And the classes are so small there that they would just get stoked about actually learning, which was really neat to see. So I'd be hanging out with them, and we had I think our GPA was combined 3.8 or 3.7 when I was there. So Really impressive kids and an impressive school.
That's good. Yeah, it's a small. A lot of people don't know that it's a small private school. It's a major sports presence, but way better than 200 kids in like a biology 101 class.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's cool. It went through a lot of changes when we were there, and now the campus is beautiful. It was under a lot of construction the time that we were there, which was a bummer because
I haven't been there in a while.
It's great. It's really nice now. We went recently because my wife was there was an alumni weekend or whatever for soccer, and she went just a couple months ago.
Fun.
And my kids loved it. They were running on a soccer field.
That's great.
It's funny, the sprinklers came on when my kids were on the field, and they were on the field. They were like the bet. They loved it. And I was like, you guys can't get soaked right now. We don't have any towels, Yeah. But where are you from originally?
So I'm from down here. Grew up in Plantation, Florida, and lived in Florida my whole life.
Cool.
Grew up in Plantation, moved to Key Biscayne for about 12 years, and then we've been in Jupiter, probably close to 18 years. So love the area.
That's awesome. I mean, it makes sense. This is such a gem, in this area. It's blowing up now, of course.
My family definitely takes advantage of it from surfing. I have kids that are really into water sports. Actually, all my kids are. Having grown up in Key Biscayne, and then I have a son that plays professional golf.
Yeah, Daniel, right?
Daniel, yeah, one of the best golfers in the world, and it's a golf mecca. And then for tennis, it's wonderful as well.
So I'm kind of surprised, Daniel. Did you get him into tennis at all, or try that route, or
he loves tennis. He's obsessed with tennis. He just kind of found golf, and truthfully, when that was all happening, I was at the University of Miami. I was spending a lot of time on the court. I have 4 kids.
Oh, 4 kids.
I have 4 kids. So my kids all play tennis, but it was nice to kind of do something away from tennis.
Yeah.
And something I really didn't know about, which I didn't know a lot about golf.
Yeah. Where's Daniel? We were 4 kids. Where's Daniel at?
Daniel's the second. So my daughter's lives in Fort Lauderdale. She's got 2 kids. So I got 2 grandkids, and she's a doctor, an OBGYN there. And then Daniel is the second. He's 32, and then I have a 31-year-old and a 27-year-old.
What do they do?
The 31-year-old is actually was one of the best kite surfers in the world.
Wow.
Which is not a bad place to be. That's Jonathan. So he spent a lot of time in the industry of kiteboarding and actually free diving, and he's getting into electric.
Like marine electronics?
Yeah, not marine electronics, low voltage electronics.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then my other son went to Maritime Academy, and he's got an incredible passion for boats and mechanics. So he has Noah's Marine mechanic. He has a mobile marine service, and he loves it and does a great job.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Man, 4 kids, I can't.
it's a lot.
I have 3 kids. They're young.
You should have another one. It's easy. Yeah, it's not a big deal at all. Have another one.
I feel like since people ask me like, because my kids are young. My daughter's 5, my son's 3, my youngest son is 1, and they're like, "What was the hardest transition?" And I'm like, in my opinion, I feel like 0 to 1 because it's complete life change. 1 to 2 was a big transition, of course, because then things don't stop.
Right.
And then you have your third one. It's like, oh, we're used to this. The sleep just is hard.
It never ends.
But 3 to 4.
It's all hard. Having kids is hard.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
But I'm also in favor of like having my kids dive into things that we're not super familiar with, so that they don't feel like they have to like follow our footsteps in certain things with expectations or whatever. So yeah, with golf with like Daniel, I'm interested in doing that with my kids, like things that I'm not even familiar with,
It was fun and just my kids all found their own way, and one really academics and the other 3 really in sports. I mean, incredible surfers, a lot of water sports, but
cool.
But they all love tennis, they all love golf, and they enjoy themselves here in South Florida.
So were you the main tennis coach for your kids? Like, when my kids played
tennis, it was more just fun.
It's fun.
It was more just fun. So when we were in Key Biscayne, I did send them to an academy that was on the Key. But really, they never took tennis too serious. It was more just a fun sport.
Cool.
But I've always found, usually with my kids, I'll try to find somebody for them to work with and kind of hang out in the back and just kind of enjoy and appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah. What led you then to? Well, so talk about your tennis career. When did you start getting really serious?
My tennis career, I was serious my whole life about tennis since I was 7 years old. Was a pretty good tennis player when I was young. Was always top 10 in the country growing up. And when I played, obviously the mecca of tennis was the United States. And went to college for 2 years. After my first year of college, I actually got to the round of 16 of the U.S. Open as an amateur. Went back, finished that year, and then turned pro.
Where's your college?
Clemson University.
Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They've been struggling recently on the football front.
They have been a little bit. That's going to change.
I think so. I mean, they'll come back.
Yeah. They have a big booster population, so I think they've got to get used to what's the new the way things work in the world of football, but they'll figure it out. But went there for 2 years. Started my pro career actually very interesting as we're talking, to a physical therapist is that got to be 7 in the world. Played Davis Cup for the United States, so really had an incredible career. Unfortunately, when I was 23 years old, was having some nagging knee injuries. Went to a doctor. He performed a surgery on me, and it just was a fail. Just a flat out fail. So I actually retired from tennis very young. Yeah, I've played my last match. I was probably 12 in the world when I played my last match, and really had to kind of start a new career, which was really interesting. So I always knew I wanted to be a coach. Thought I really wanted to be a college coach for the rest of my life. Went back and got a degree, fell in love with school again, and really fell in love with coaching.
What was your degree?
In sports management.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, from FIU.
Awesome. So you always knew or wanted to be a coach. You want to work.
Yeah, I mean, tennis has given me so much, and definitely want to get back to the sport and to kids. And so, I think I was asked even 1 year I was in the quarterfinals of the French Open. What would you do, if you weren't playing tennis? And always knew I wanted to be a coach. So
that's awesome. So then, what was your first coaching?
So my first coaching position was actually as a national coach for the United States, and that was in Key Biscayne. So graduated, thought I was going to go to college tennis, and then got an offer to work with the USTA down in Key Biscayne. for Nick Saviano is a great coach in his own right. And, it was a great life. I mean, I'm really into fishing, had a, great place to live, great place to raise kids.
Yeah.
And so we went down there and did that for a couple years. We had a very small staff, and in our program was pretty ambitious in regards to kind of the amount of travel that was expected of the coaches. And I realized, holy mackerel, first of all, I'm not making a lot of money, which was fine. That's not what it was about. But more than that, I was traveling an enormous amount. I was taking my kids with me, and decided that, my family was way more important than at this point in my life than actually at all points in my life than traveling around. But had some great experiences. Travel with people that I'm still really close with, the Bryan brothers. I traveled with them when they were 17 years old, the greatest doubles team ever. Still stay in contact with them. And so the tennis world is small. It's been really, really fun for me.
So you made the round of 16 as an amateur when you were in college.
Did. Yeah.
And you French Open Final 4.
Final eight. Yeah.
What were some of the most memorable matches for you that you remember?
I mean, definitely actually at the French Open that year, I played Jimmy Connors, who's kind of, an icon in tennis. I played him on a Wednesday in the second round of the French Open. That's Kids Day. And I played on Châtrier, which is the center court there. And it was just packed. People going crazy, kids going crazy. And I think there were about 3 people rooting for me. And that was my coach and my girlfriend. Maybe one other person. So that was definitely an incredible experience. Playing for your country.
Yeah.
Always was a dream of mine, and something probably was the pinnacle of my tennis career. And got to do that twice.
Cool.
Played actually in Peru. Andre Agassi and myself were rookies on the team. Pretty amazing experience. And then actually coached Davis Cup for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
cool.
Which was pretty neat. So I've had some really interesting coaching experiences with Coach Davis Cup for 13 years with, working with Patrick McEnroe and then Jim Courier. Going in crazy places with Andy Roddick and James Blake and the Bryan brothers, which was pretty amazing. And then also coached 3 Olympic teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was coached in Beijing, coached in London, and coached in Rio. We won medals at all of them, and pretty amazing experiences. Wow. Didn't get to see much of the Olympics, but
you're like locked into
we're just locked in, into what we're doing.
What was that experience like compared to the French Open, U.S. Open, major tournaments? Like what was
the experience at the Olympics is different because there are not that many it's a huge event, but you're isolated only with athletes. They make it very difficult for anybody else to be there. So you spend a lot more time with the players. Some of them, maybe they're not players that you coach on a full-time basis. So I stayed in the village. When the players, the USA always gets hotel rooms for the players to kind of make it a little bit more convenient, for people like the Williams sisters or whoever that might be. They also offer the players to be able to stay in the village, which our players always do. Somebody always has to stay with them, and that person is me. So no hotels for Jay. I'm in the village with the players, but it's a pretty neat experience.
And the village would be like all the U.S. athletes,
all the athletes, all the athletes from every country. Yeah.
And is the village like a group of homes or apartments that are
exactly? Yeah, they usually build them specifically for that. They're not very luxury based. They're kind of
just
bare bones. But it's pretty neat because you see almost all the top athletes
cool.
staying there. And that's really the experience of the Olympics. I mean, my recommendation always for the USA is to actually not do the hotels because they're really the Olympics. It is about medals, but it's also about camaraderie and that experience of being with the other athletes.
That'd be cool. I mean, what an opportunity, like world-class athletes all staying in the same close quarters.
Can't imagine what they eat. McDonald's. I mean, it's shocking.
As I say, like what's that look like?
It's a little shocking to see, see what they eat, but it's also pretty neat that you're at a table and you see people coming in and they just want a gold medal or a silver medal or stuff like that. It's pretty remarkable.
When they're done competing, do they all hang out together and party and stuff?
Not our athletes were there, so in tennis, it's kind of, you don't have much time after you're there. You need to get out of there to get ready for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because falls right in the middle of the season. It's not a pinnacle like these other athletes. So our players are in, they're experiencing it, they're playing.
They do the thing
and then they're out. Yeah, they're not there partying.
There was somebody I was talking with that they were describing that where like, I mean, it's a bunch of 20-year-olds, that are top pinnacle athletes, all hanging out together, which is like a fun, cool experience. It can get rowdy, but like, appropriately rowdy, but it'll be really fun. I could imagine.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience and probably one.
And you went to 3 of them.
I went to 3 of them. Yeah.
What was it like? Beijing, Rio, and London.
Yeah.
What was it?
Beijing was just it's kind of China's an interesting place to be.
Yeah.
So far away, so you never kind of, getting on the right time zone.
Acclimated.
The acclimation was really difficult. The conditions were tough with the air pollution, even though they kind of didn't have cars in there, but it was hard to breathe.
Interesting.
And it just kind of whirlwind. The thing about it is that when we go, we play singles, a men's doubles, and mixed doubles. So my days are really from morning until night. But I have to say, one of the best experiences I had, certainly what was in London with the Bryan brothers winning gold, which was the only kind of thing left on their mantle to win. And that was really, that was it for them.
Cool.
And kind of interesting to be down a break point first round that they probably don't win the gold, and they win that and win the entire thing. And then the other thing is I was with Jack Sock and Steve Johnson, and they played one of the most incredible matches to win bronze. And for Steve to get the bronze, and Jack won bronze and actually won gold in mixed doubles was really neat. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Be a really cool experience. But I could see you'll be packed. Like your days are packed.
Boom.
Yeah. Like you're knocking out things all day, and then in, out, and you're back in the United States for season stuff with people. That's really cool. What was your growing up? What was your training like?
My training, it was a little old school. The way we did. I played a ton of tennis, so it wasn't as regimented as things are now, where we had a little bit more autonomy to kind of experience things on our own. So it wasn't today. The young players are so structured with an academy, or we do this from this time and that from that time, and always instruction. We were a little bit. It was a little bit more flexible. We were dropped off at the courts. If we wanted to get better, we practiced, and we practiced real hard.
Yeah.
And if we didn't,
force fed you.
Yeah, it was not force fed, which I think, at least in this country, I think it's a little bit too much in all different sports.
I don't disagree.
So I think
and early specialization. I'm like, man.
I think a little bit more independence for the kids. I mean, interesting. My son growing up playing golf, I mean, he definitely had his instruction, but it was really up to him how good he wanted to get.
Yeah.
And I think that was a little bit kind of the way I grew up as well, where you're at the courts, you're going to make the best use of your time or not, and not having somebody looking at you all the time allowed you to experiment as well. So, if you have a coach on top of you, you might not try that stupid shot because the coach is right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my tennis, I played a lot and I worked hard. I mean, I loved it. The physical training has just developed so much more from what it was. I mean, for me, it was go run 3 miles, do some sprints. I didn't even lift weights. There wasn't much thought into it. Interesting is that when I did play pros, I actually started working with a gentleman by the name of Bill Ferran. Bill Ferran was actually the Ferrans. He and his son are the only strength and conditioning trainers that have worked with the Miami Heat in their existence. So Bill Ferran was the first trainer at the University of Miami and worked throughout his entire career. And then his son, who was an athlete at University of Florida, took over, and he's been doing since then.
Wow.
Which is pretty neat. So he definitely brought in some new things, resistant bands and things that I had never even heard of before.
Yeah. I know it's like, I mean, like, even with, I remember growing up, like, I mean, I'm only 30, I'll be 37 in like a month, but like the baseball culture, you know, and basketball as well. Like they were like, oh, don't lift weights. You're going to get stiff.
Right.
You're going to lose your mobility. You're going to mess up your arm for throwing, you know. Football, of course, was like, you have to lift, you know, but it was kind of like frowned upon, you know, where now there's so much information and research about the helpfulness that it can provide, you know, as long as you're just doing the right things and the right mobility.
It's changed a lot. I mean, I was just reading an article this morning about Marin Cilic, who's 37 years old, I think, or 38, years old. He's in the third round of the Australian Open right now, and he's kind of inspired by 40-year-olds now that are continuing to play tennis, like Wawrinka, and it's
for
just
longevity.
Yeah, the longevity is just the information they have. Traveling with physical therapists, which is pretty common these days. Nutrition, hydration, sleep, vitamins. The whole package is really kind of allowing players to play longer and play healthier, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it big time.
Looking back, would you been like, as a teenager, like an adolescent to training and developing, would you have been like all about it? Do you think if someone's like, hey, I think we should intervene, we should add resistance strength training?
I think I would have, and just kind of a more holistic approach to it. I mean, it just wasn't done when I played. It just wasn't done. I mean, I think if I was looking at my career and some of the changes that I would make, which aren't many. I mean, the nice thing about my career is I can go to bed put my head down and realize I gave it everything I had to be as good as I could become. Yeah. But I probably would have put a lot more focus in kind of prehab, rehab, PT work, and really keeping my body healthier, and probably would have been, I would have been better off and would have probably maybe made a finals of a Grand Slam if I would have traveled with a strength and conditioning coach. I didn't really need a coach. I actually needed more of that side of it because I had to think on my own from when I was young, but I didn't understand that other aspect of it. Yeah.
Interesting. I know it is commonplace now for strength conditioning and like a physio to travel with players to major tournaments and stuff.
They are, yeah. I mean, they're traveling, a full team is, sometimes you have somebody on top kind of organizing like a team leader. And you see this in golf as well, kind of a developmental leader that might know a little bit about everything, that puts everything together. I mean, you have strength and conditioning coaches. You certainly have a PT. You might have a nutritionist. You might have a mental coach traveling with you.
I think that.
You have a tennis coach. You have, I mean, it's
so mental health, a sports psychologist, sports physio, maybe a nutritionist.
Hydration specialist. I know like Murray had a hydration specialist. I've been on the court when Djokovic was handled the wrong bottle of water, at the wrong time in practice, that he needed his other one, not this one. And he was not happy about it. So yeah, I mean, it's, they're taking it to pretty high standards right now. Sleep, it kind of goes on and on and on.
Yeah. That was the next thing I was going to ask was like, what do you think separates somebody from being like a number 7 in the world versus somebody who can't crack the top 100? Look, because from my opinion, I feel like the talent is very, very similar. What is it that separates the tip of the spear from?
Usually the mind. I mean, if you're doing everything right, which guys are getting closer to it, it's usually the mind. It is how you go about things. I mean, we can all do things, but we've got to be fully engaged in it. We've got to be fully held accountable. We've got to hold ourselves totally accountable. I've always felt the difference in levels is the mind, and you're right. The level, the kind of abilities and what players can do, is somewhat similar. There might be some physical attributes, that are different, but they're all really good players and they're all capable of playing at an incredibly high level. The difference maker is that the best players can do it, play their best tennis at the most important moments, and the other ones just aren't able to on a consistent basis.
Why?
Could be a lot of reasons. I mean, it could usually it's they want to win too much. They don't have.
So they're trying too hard.
They're trying too hard. They don't have things in perspective. I mean, if you listen to what the best players in the world focus on, it's usually process-oriented stuff, and
like routine-based things.
Yeah, routine-based, or they give a lot of credit to who they're playing against, and they focus less on the results and more on the things that they can control. Very simple things to say. It's really easy to sit in here and say that.
Yeah,
certainly very, very harder to do, because
like in the moment,
everything in life is merit-based in sports. You have to win, or else you don't get to the next level. You don't make as much money. You don't get contracts. So it is kind of a paradigm where in order to do those things, you can't worry about them, but they are so important.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of relaxing, putting your attention to and your focus on getting better, putting your focus on improvement in practice, and then letting things be as they are when it comes down to match time. And I think, my opinion, from what I've seen in all my years of playing and watching tennis, which is a lot, the people that can do that best are the best players.
I've heard that a lot, with like, focus on the things you can control and stick to the same like pre-shot routine,
sure,
pre-serve routine,
focus an anchor. Yeah.
And then that just sets you in the right direction. And you can't control the outcome anyway. Like if the wind blows and it blows out of bound by an inch, you can't really control that. So you're going to focus. Right. You can't focus on that. It's not going to be helpful.
So it's kind of interesting is that, I think I've always actually understood this personally, and also been able to convey it, quite well to players. One of my experiences at the Olympics kind of really magnified this for me is I was with James Blake. James Blake, we're actually, he was the only one left. We're in the village together. His dad was sick. I mean, I think he was dying of cancer as he went to the Olympics. So it was really a dream for him to win an Olympic medal. Playing unbelievable tennis, had an incredibly difficult draw, beat some incredible players in the quarterfinals. He beats Federer, pretty darn good player.
Wow. That's cool.
In the semifinals wins this match. He gets a medal. He's playing Fernando Gonzalez, is a player that he should beat. And he has 3 match points to win a medal. 3 points. Loses them, does not win the match, has to play Djokovic now for 3rd and 4th, loses in 3 sets. I think at Gonzalez, he lost 8-6 in the 3rd or 9-7. And we're back in the hotel room, and I mean, I was really in tears, for him, and started just thinking that it can't only be about the winning. It just can't, or else it'd be just too painful and not worth it. So I think understanding, having perspective on life, putting importance on the right things really separates, and it's really difficult to do.
A couple questions on that. Like how was he afterwards?
Look, he has, sure. I think, look, he's such an incredible person. Yeah. He's incredibly intelligent. He has a great family, great base of friends and coaches that he handled it fine. It was a disappointment, but yeah. I think in his life, he kind of could put it in perspective.
I would imagine you were one of the main key persons for him, people in those moments. Like, what do you say?
There's not much to say. I just think, I think that's when you don't really talk. Yeah. It's just, it's over. It happened. And it's kind of interesting is that, you're trying to, I remember some conversations at the Olympics. Kind of interesting is that even though I spent, so little time, it's three events, I do have some interesting experiences at the Olympics. Is that, it's got to be about more. But we can talk about it, and you can talk about it's an Olympic experience just to be at the Olympics, but for these guys, and when you get so close, they want to win a medal.
Win. Yeah, totally.
You want to win a medal. So
for sure, that's tough.
Yeah,
man, it's really tough. After that, he came back and continued season.
Yeah, I actually do think it affected his season. I mean, I'd have to look back a little bit. I didn't coach him one-on-one. I just happened to be his coach at the Olympics. But I think it did affect, it definitely had some lasting fatigue from that experience. I think it hurt. I think I would imagine it did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he's doing really well anyway. So
there was a mental health, like a performance coach that I was talking with, and they were like, of course, the best thing to do is not let a previous bad play affect your next play.
Right.
I'm sure you had plenty of coaching opportunities on that.
Yeah.
And the suggestion this person was giving was like, the highest level athletes that perform consistently, especially in high clutch situations, are able to like refocus back on what they need to focus. It's the time lapse between ruminating over something and then getting back to what you need to focus.
Yeah, I think that's Djokovic talks a lot about that, and having,
this person mentioned Djokovic.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has I've seen an Instagram post of him talking like that it's not that he doesn't get upset or get nervous. It's just that those moments are very short for him, or not as long as others. But
that's a hard thing to do. That's something I struggled with.
I think pro athletes train a lot at that, and they have to be. And it's kind of interesting is that as bad as things are, they can get worse on a tennis court, on a golf course. I mean, just so
it's totally true.
So obviously letting it go, but I really think a lot of it is having a great perspective about life in general. I think the best athletes certainly do, and they have, they find an anchor in something else in their life besides the sport.
Yeah. Has Daniel worked a lot on that with like on the mental side with golf?
I think in general, Daniel has a really good understanding from, I call it relationship to competing, is that I think he benefited from having myself, who understood and had dealt with so many kids and really understood it. And then my wife is very carefree and could not care at all how he doesn't understand it. Would be when he was a junior golfer, he'd be in a playoff and she's walking on the plank of a bridge, just reading a book. So just, it wasn't, it from a young age, it was all his. It wasn't anybody else's. And I think that really, really helped him excel and kind of, I think he's known as a really, really quality competitor.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
he's done well, but I think one of the pillars that I have when you're trying to develop a player is having a great relationship to competing. And I would say he has a great relationship to competing.
What does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that?
To me, it means that you have things in perspective, that you put your emphasis on the practices, that it's not the end all be all of who you are as a person. You can let it go afterwards, and you can kind of just focus on just getting the values out of that match or out of that event. What did I learn from it? Here are the positives that I learned. Here are the negatives. Here are some things I need to change, and learning from it and kind of think of it a little bit more kind of scientific instead of kind of being so emotional about it.
More logical versus
just logic. I mean, I think about this a lot, and it's probably one of the things I'm most passionate about when it comes to sports, is how the mind works and how we can, truly how you can excel. And I don't have the answers. I wish I did, because I think but certainly I think I'm pretty good at kind of guiding people. And it's really authentic. I mean, I do think it's about the process. I authentically think it is.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a good player and you can focus really on the process components of it, I mean, you're gonna reach your potential, which is really all it's about.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on all that. Where it's like you can't just focus on the W, like running a practice, developing that over the last several years. focusing on like what can you control and the process involved. I've always been a destination guy, because I played, sports in college and stuff. So it was always destination and the journey leading up to it. I've definitely tried to dive more and really dive into that more, because that leads to the outcome you're looking for without trying. It's just a byproduct of the process. But anyway, I totally agree with all that stuff. What advice would you give to young athletes right now that are like 10, 11, 12? They're really getting after it to excel.
Number one, focus on fundamentals. I mean, sports are about fundamentals. Focus on having a great work ethic. I think that kind of goes through and through. I mean, you've got to work at this. There's nobody, talent's not gonna get you where you want to get to. Be process oriented, have a passion, and find a way to have a great relationship to competing. Those are the things that I think are the most important aspects in developing a young person. And I think it's really comes from not only the player, but also really from the parents.
That's
going to set the agenda. I mean, that's really for them.
What are you going to say to the parents? Because there's a couple different types of parents, right? You have
it's pretty funny. The way I kind of approach it is I say, look, there are two ways we can develop your kid. One way is, it's going to be result oriented. When they lose, we might have to yell at them, scream at them, we might have to put hands on them. Now that's one way, and they can develop. It's going to be brutal. They're going to be totally dysfunctional at the end of it, but you might create a player. Now that's not the way I'm obviously willing to do that. So you're at the wrong place if you're willing to do that. The other way is that we can focus on the process. We can teach what is important, the values of competing and the values of what sports bring to a family and to a player.
Yeah.
We can focus on work ethic. We can focus on passion. We can focus on the process behind things. And we can also develop a player. We might not, but we're going to develop a well-functioning human being, which is the most important part of this.
Right, totally. I love that. Because otherwise, it's just you're trying to force a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
To force and groom a young person to be something that they might not just be that, because they're not into it.
Yeah, it's funny when I've used those exact lines with parents. I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating when I tell them how bad it's going to be, but I do see, obviously we know parents that take that route of being brutal to their kids, and I just totally do not believe in that. It scars them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even doing it once or twice can scar them. And
what's that look like?
That looks like a kid that, a parent, and it's not, a lot of times it's not that the parents don't even know better. It could be, it could be my kid winning and I treat him differently than when they lose. It could be my kid wins and I take him out to the greatest dinner and I tell everybody how great that my kid won, instead of focusing on, when people used to ask me about Daniel, I heard he's a great golfer. Look, I don't know if he's a great golfer. I know he's a great kid. I know he's got an unbelievable work ethic. I've never seen a kid work like this in my life. And I made sure that he knew that those were the things that were important to me, which they were.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and now, do we like to see our kids win? Of course we do. So it's a little bit of an act, but a small act. It's got to be authentic. But it can go both ways. First of all, you can abuse your kid or being not very nice to them when they lose. That has obviously a horrible effect on them. On the other hand, we can treat them incredibly. You can put value on winning as well, and it equals the same result.
Yeah.
My kid won. I buy him a phone. So I've seen it all. And I have to say, most of the time, it's just parents not knowing better. Unfortunately, I was an athlete, so
yeah,
and I was a coach, and I experienced so much. So my kids probably had an advantage. I don't think it's parents doing it for the wrong reasons. It's just really important that they understand both of them. And when Daniel would do well at a golf tournament, it was very important for us authentically and intentionally to treat him the same. If it was his turn to do the dishes, he did the dishes.
Yeah, I love that.
And it was intentional, and I was even maybe a little harsher about those things. So I didn't want to make any connection through success and how he was treated in our family.
Yeah.
And now that's not easy as you get good, because it's natural to kind of, for people around to kind of make sure, the focus becomes on him. But we were intentional to make sure we valued and celebrated all our kids' successes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, when my kids start, my son's playing T-ball for the first time, like the second week is tomorrow morning.
Okay.
But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. But I'm just like, man, I hope I can do that. The awareness to be mindful of that stuff.
Be intentional.
When they start competing.
I had intentional conversations around, especially in sports, around Daniel, who was a high level. I mean, now it also has to be authentic.
Yeah.
You can't in your back of your mind go, 25 home runs. All right. Yeah. It's got to be intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or totally. It's got to be authentic.
Authentic. Yeah. Totally. You're a busy guy, right? Like you're still really busy right now. How do you prioritize and maintain your own health? Nutrition, fitness, mobility.
Boy, I could do a better job as I'm getting inspired as I'm looking at you. No, it is important to me. And for me, it's actually hiring a strength and conditioning coach. So that's made the biggest difference. Now probably I need to find a time period. So my time to work out with her is at the end of the day. It probably needs to be kind of more at the beginning, because I'm starting to find myself, first of all, it's one of our staff at Ibis, and she's gotten so busy now. And I gotta be honest, I'm not totally internally motivated. I do need that help of having somebody there and setting it up for me. And it was really,
that's what they're there for. Yeah.
Not only the strength and conditioning component of it. So at our club, I tell people, that they want to become better tennis players or want to become better golfers, is I tell them to take the time and hire somebody if you can afford it. If you can afford it, hire somebody and use our strength and conditioning coaches, because it's gonna motivate you. You're gonna get in there more often. And the thing I like about it as well is that it's a period of time when I'm in the gym for that 1 hour and however long, where I don't even want to think about what I should be doing, what weights I should be doing, so I'm a big proponent of hiring a strength and conditioning coach, especially if you're not like me. I've trained a lot. I'm not overly motivated to do it. So.
Yeah. I also imagine at the end of the day, because you're still, how long is your day like now, coaching and
all day
instructing?
I work all day. I mean, I'm on it's not necessarily instructing, but I'm at our facility, which I love to be at. I love the club at Ibis. I'm there from morning till night, almost every day in season.
Yeah.
We're very busy. Yeah.
That's a hard recipe to then be like, now let's physically exert ourselves.
Yeah. That's where I'm struggling with a little bit. So, and that's been over the last year and a half. And then I also work with Riley Opelka still. So, that takes a lot of my time and
is he still training at Ibis at Ibis or somewhere else?
He does. No, he trains at the club at Ibis. We have a pretty neat program there where we have, we have some great older players. We have some great younger players. We have a tremendous coaching staff right now that I'm really proud of.
Any other guys like on Riley's level that are competing professionally that you train with?
No. So and I'm busy enough with what I do that it's Riley now. I do, help mentor some of the players who are at Ibis through our coaches. We have a couple of juniors that I think could be pretty good and that I spend time with. We right now have one of the top players in the world that is training there with another coach. So I don't have any more time. I mean, between my family, I'm a grandfather of 2 grandkids. I've got enough to. I do not have enough time to work with anybody.
You'd rather focus on your workout.
Yeah, exactly. I need to.
I'm not really a morning workout person personally. Like first thing in the morning, wake up, do a workout. Right. That's usually my main creative time where I'm brainstorming and thinking of ideas, visionary stuff. And then I'll work with some patients, and then usually right before lunch, I'm like, that's the time I'll work.
That's when the time. Okay. So, all right, that's good advice. Maybe I'll try that.
I just figured it out. I was like, you know what? Like on my commute to work, I usually listen to some kind of entrepreneurial podcast, leadership podcast of some sort.
So do I.
And that's when I'm like bouncing ideas.
You ever listen to the founders?
I have. I've been listening to, some of your favorite ones, and I'll definitely check it out. I love that. Yeah. I'm always open to great ideas. Okay. But anyway, that usually stimulates in my head, like what thinking ideas, visionary stuff. So I jot stuff down, and then I want to immediately start working on stuff. It's just my creative time, I guess. And then I'll work with some patients. Right. And then I'm like physically getting my body moving around. And then like before lunch, I have to work out, because if I don't after lunch, I get like the post-lunch fatigue, and I'm like, now I got to go home. I got this stuff to work on. Okay. Then it's 4:30, and I'm like,
doing exactly that, but I'm not working out during lunch. Yeah. So that I'm going to try that. That's a good idea.
I just have a little snack. Well, because the other thing is like I get hungry, and I'm like, man, I can't work out hungry. I'm going to get lightheaded, and I get, I just can't get a workout in. All right. So I'm like, I'll have a little snack, and then just freaking put your shoes on. Stop. Just don't even sit down. Just work out. Have your snack in your last 30 minutes of your last patient. Okay. And then just work out, and then you'll take an hour, and then you're done.
All right. I'm going to try that. I like it.
I highly recommend
that. All right. I like that.
Yeah. And then, afternoon, I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm just working on administrative stuff. I have emails to bang out, and then I can leave and go home early to be home by 4:30 with my kids.
That's great.
And then I don't have to work out when I get home. Right. There's no chance that's happening.
I'm going to try it.
It's absolute zoo in my house when I get home,
Can't imagine.
But it's fun. But yeah. So you're still super busy.
I am.
And you've been at Ibis for how many years?
I'm starting my 9th year right now. Yeah, I love it. So I changed. I started as a director of education, of technique and stuff like that. Director of coaching for our staff, working with members, and then kind of moved on. Our director of sports left. Chuck Gill, he went to actually the club at Wellington, great director of tennis and director of sports. And so I'm in charge of tennis, fitness, pickleball, and bocce. So any sport other than golf comes into my.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy. So it's been fun. I mean, we have some really neat programs. We have the number one pickleball player in the world that trains out of Ibis, which is pretty fun.
Pickleball is blowing up.
It is blowing up. We're actually gonna bring padel now to Ibis as well.
That's fun. I played that twice. Yeah, fun.
Played once. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, pickleball's huge, and it's really neat to see. See this guy train, and he spends I spent a little bit of time with him because singles is very similar to tennis and pickleball.
Yeah, of course.
Boxing, we actually have a guy by the name of Alberto Palmetta, who is he was captain of the Argentine Olympic team. Wow. And he's our boxing instructor at Ibis. Cool. So we have some neat things there. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever play pickleball? Like, have you played?
I've played a little bit. Yeah, I played it. I mean, for tennis players, it's a fairly easy sport for us to be proficient at.
It's an easy transition.
It's a pretty easy transition. I mean, you see it, almost every pickleball player, at least to this point, their background is tennis. Now, what you're going to find is the best players that are going to be coming out are going to be players that have never played tennis, and they're going to be doing some really different things. Yeah. We saw a player actually yesterday, unfortunately, a 14-year-old kid beat the number 2 player in the world. Wow. So that's actually our guy, Federico.
That's awesome.
But a 14-year-old kid.
Why'd you say unfortunately? Why?
Well, unfortunately, because Federico trains at our club. That's our player. Yeah. I don't want a 14-year-old kid beating him. Right. But
iron sharpens iron, right? Like,
yeah. That's, you know what? I was pretty impressed.
A hard thing to say, but I
was pretty impressed with his reaction. I said, "Hang in there," and he goes, "Always." I mean, he's a tough kid. He works hard. So
that's funny, man. Yeah. But that's pickleball is. I've only played it like maybe a handful of times.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's a fun sport.
I think getting used to the rule. It's just the rules, different
scoring,
craftiness, how to score.
It is there's a lot that goes into it at the highest level. The nice thing about it is that kind of everybody can go there and really enjoy themselves. Yeah.
It's a low barrier entry.
I mean, we have
activity.
We have during season. I mean, during the month of December, we had 4,800 people play pickleball in the month at Ibis on 7 courts. 4,800 people.
My gosh.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That is.
Yeah, they love it, and especially people that it's a great family sport. Nice to see grandparents playing with grandkids.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah.
So are y'all going to expand the pickleball footprint?
We are. We actually just passed a CIP, capital improvement project, where we are. I think we're going to 12 pickleball courts, with 5 of them being indoor covered. The interesting thing about our club is that as pickleball has grown, tennis has grown as well. So tennis has not. A lot of places, tennis is really hurt from pickleball growth. At ours, not at all. I mean, we had in that same month of December where we had 4,800 pickleball players, we had 5,800 tennis players. So, yeah. It's definitely,
that's cool.
I mean,
That's
tennis
cool to see.
is a great sport. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. I know you like a busy schedule, so I appreciate you coming in, sharing some
Absolutely.
insights.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Having hopefully a cool conversation and share.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't talk as much about strength and conditioning and that stuff. I mean, this is more my passion, what we talked about.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. It's what I wanted to gear towards.
Good.
If anybody wants to find out more or work with you or anything like that, like how could they? What's the best way?
Probably not happening.
Yeah, don't reach out to me.
No. We love. Look, anybody you can. I can always be reached at Ibis.
Just you'll find you at Ibis.
They can find me at Ibis. I'm there every day.
Cool.
Come on by, and we always have some great players, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. And if y'all have any questions or anything, comments, questions, concerns, conflicting opinions, don't hesitate to reach out. Podcast ideas, guests, we're always open to cool ideas. And if you're battling any pain, don't hesitate to reach out. We can at least talk on the phone about what you have going on, and if we can direct you in a certain direction or somewhere else, we can at least chat. And we'll catch y'all next time.